I'll be upfront with you guys. After researching two fuel cell companies in the last 3 weeks, I'm inclined to agree with Elon right now.
If you're going to pick an energy storage mechanism, hydrogen is an incredibly dumb one to pick.
What the hell did you just say?
That being said, Nikola is approaching the fuel cell business in a very unique and compelling way. In this video, we're going to talk about why I think they have a chance, what are my concerns, and then we're going to touch on the financials to figure out how much investment risks there might be. If this is the type of content you've been looking for, please hit the like button and let's get started. So Nikola is for sure an interesting company run by a very shrewd CEO. I say this because of how he describes his own business, how he interviews. He's very charismatic. So Nikola is run by a hell of an ambitious CEO. He calls his company an energy technology company. On paper, it looks to me like an automotive company that's trying to do too much. And the reason why I say that is they're trying to do commercial trucks as well as off-road vehicles, as well as, the F-150 kind of trucks. That's a lot, right? And they're trying to do the infrastructures for the fuel cell stations. But after a little bit more research, I actually think they have a better shot than I originally anticipated. The reason I say this is because he's basically taking a shit ton of pre-orders for everything. Everything's a prototype. And on top of that, the infrastructure is not there. But he recognizes there's a chicken and egg issue, right? You can't sell trucks for fuel cell if there's no place to pump the fuel cell for those trucks. So he's basically trying to get companies like Budweiser, who have a shit ton of routes, to sign up with him. And with that money, he's going to use that money to build the fuel cell infrastructure for that route. And there are only so many routes in the world, right? So essentially, if he is successful in signing these businesses, then eventually he won't need to build these infrastructures. Then he's going to make a shit ton of money, right? Because he owns the infrastructures. Any competitor that decides to build a route with their trucks or whatever are going to use the same infrastructure, assuming he's first to market. So ultimately, he's basically getting his fixed cost paid for by the routes. If you want to see how ambitious he is, just go to the Nikola website and check out the fuel cell stations that he had in mind. It is ridiculous. But if it works, then I agree with his VC 100%. He basically will be revolutionizing an $100 billion industry, both owning the commercial trucks and have successfully privatized the infrastructure as well. That is ambitious. I mean, I thought I was ambitious. That is like to the moon ambitious. That's like Elon Musk times 2 ambitious. In the startup world, we talk about taking moonshots, high risk, high reward, and even if you fail, you still have a massive gain kind of approach. This guy is basically taking a Mars shot. And yet the way he's been talking about his business, it kind of makes sense. Having the infrastructure being paid by the route, it makes a lot of sense. And secondly, he's been partnering with a ton of billion-dollar companies to collect IPs, do his research, and when he's ready to tackle the market, presumably right after he IPOs, he's going to be leveraging his billion-dollar partners to reduce his fixed cost and also presumably a fundraise as well on the IPO side so that he can continue to innovate, build credibility, and continue to capture the market. Now let's talk about my concerns. My biggest concern as an investment is that from my experience for the last more than 10 years of investing, in order for an IPO to be successful, they need two things. The price that they go IPO with is for the most part irrelevant based on how I invest. What matters is that they have to have a plan to scale up and it has to make sense. And secondly, they have to prove in Q1 that they can execute their vision. Now, they've gotten the big talk down. I mean, I'm sold on their story. I'm sold on their approach. But the thing is, every investor who researches them is hesitant and makes fun of the fact that they have $4 billion worth of contracts with zero commitment. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean it's what's happening internally, but from the outside as a private investor, what it looks like is equivalent to me telling you that I'm going to build a skyscraper and it's going to flip your money like crazy. All you need to do is give me your email. Now, the counterpoint to that is they went public on a legit stock exchange. They have billion-dollar partners. If they do anything sketchy or stupid, they're going to get their ass sued off. So I think the chance of that happening is slim. Secondly, being that he's backed by a reputable VC, I highly doubt neither of them, or the board for that matter, doesn't recognize the fact that Q1 is what makes or breaks the investor confidence. My second concern is Tesla. Tesla is clearly playing in the same space. You've seen their commercial trucks. They're trying to go all electric. I think the smart thing with this company is that they're going electric plus fuel cell, which is why I'm kind of wondering why Nikola isn't playing up the fact that their trucks are not just fuel cell. It's fuel cell plus electricity, at least according to their site is. So essentially you have the best of both worlds. It's essentially a backup plan. And I think that for businesses is super important. If your battery fails, overheats, or runs out, you can always fuel up as long as the infrastructure exists. So Tesla has much better brand awareness, much deeper pockets, and a guy that is known to get things done already. Nikola sounds like it's getting there, but not quite, right? So to me, the last concern and the biggest concern, whether they can actually execute and sign $4 billion worth of contract. Now, I think that they're not naive and ignorant, so they'll probably have a very good-looking first quarter. But are they going to be consistently delivering? Because in my opinion, missing delivery dates like Elon Musk, that's different when you're dealing with commercial businesses. And so execution is key. Building infrastructures, each of those infrastructures is going to cost them $15 million to build. How long is that going to take? In reality, how long is that going to take? Building these trucks when they're currently prototypes, how long is that going to take? In my opinion, their execution is what's going to make or break this company. All in all, especially after watching his interviews being charismatic and well-spoken about his execution and his vision, I really like the commercial alternative energy space. And I like this company as well. However, there is a lot on the line in terms of execution. A lot of things need to line up. A lot of money needs to be there. So would I invest in this company? I think the valuation is way too high. I think the stock's going to get diluted because he needs money for execution. Hopefully, 10% of his deals are real, and it'll create a catalyst to get commitment from the rest of his deals. That will be mwah! I'm going to wait till after Q1 so that I'm a little bit more comfortable with some moving parts. For my portfolio, there's just a little bit too much more risk. Alright guys, I hope this video proved helpful. I've been hearing a lot of feedback from you guys and I'm taking them to heart. I really appreciate your constructive criticisms and I will be working on all of them one at a time. The first one is the volume, so I hope this volume is high enough for you guys. If you have any questions or concerns or any other complaints about how I'm doing my thing, how I can improve my thing, please hit me up. I really like it. Thank you for joining and subscribing because this is the type of community I want to build. Positive people who are there to build financial freedom and to learn about the next investment. Learn to make financially sound investments with good bankroll management. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to working with you next time.